Good morning, traders. It's April 23rd, and this is your FX intraday video analysis. So, what is going on? Well, we are seeing some pullbacks on stocks. This has been technically expected already at the start of the week. As you know, we've been looking for these corrections, but this is now just going slightly deeper after concerns of higher US capital taxes. Of course, there are also still rising COVID cases in some of Asian countries, and you are also seeing a huge drop, very strong one on cryptocurrencies, probably because of some legal issues and also related to these taxes, I believe. Euro dollar, however, is still holding very nice supports here. There is still an uptrend intact. However, there can be a little bit of more choppy trading through Friday, but generally speaking, I'm expecting more upside. Also, there were some positive remarks yesterday from ECB. So for now, we will continue to look for higher euro dollar despite lower stocks, because I think that stocks sooner or later will again try to stabilize, and this could give a new momentum higher to euro dollar. Now, from an Elliott wave perspective, as you know, still, I mean, we're looking for 5 waves up, and this is now counter-trend reaction. Of course, there is a chance that wave C has already been finished here, but if that's going to be the case, if we really are going to see new highs here, then I would probably adjust the wave count and set that this is your wave 4. Okay, so I will label this right quick. Okay, and then I would be expecting a 3-wave setback and then more upside. But anyhow, from a trading perspective, I mean, I'm very interested to be long, but I just need something deeper here. It just, the risk reward is not okay. Now let's take a look on cable. Now cable came to the downside. This is not an updated wave count. It came to the downside quite aggressively, not below this invalidation level, okay, which is very important whenever you're tracking wave 4. So for now, this count, yes, is still valid, but because of a deep pullback, just allow to cable to come a little bit lower. I think that there is potential to be a very slow Monday session as well. So if that's going to be the case, then this pair could actually just stay trapped in this consolidation. So that's why I came out recently with a triangle here. But even this one suggests that sooner or later this uptrend will resume, I should say, but after A, B, C, D, E subwaves. Now let's take a look also on Aussie dollar. Now Aussie dollar is currently turning to the upside, and looks like that we could see a little bit of more upside in the near term. I'm looking this to be wave 4, so looking higher for wave 5. Maybe even this was already finished wave 1 and you are just completed wave 2 and you're headed higher for wave 3 or 3. Well, this would be quite aggressive movement, but I would not be surprised actually. I mean, we are seeing a very nice uptrend here, very nice breakout of this triangle on copper prices. Then you have dollar Chinese yuan resuming, let me zoom this in, resuming this weakness. So I'm thinking about another retest soon here of this trend line. This is obviously all positive for Aussie. Also here you still have this Hang Seng Index. It made a 3-wave drop. I'm expecting more upside here, at least in the near term, towards 30,000. So this is positive for Aussie dollar, but not only Aussie dollar. We have also New Zealand dollar. As you know, I sent out an EPO, Elliott Plant Opportunity. So I was looking for, and still looking obviously, for more upside here, because a drop was made by 3 waves, and this was a very nice break out of this downward channel and then also base channel. So I think that hunting pullbacks could be very interesting here, and we have recently seen very nice ABC drop here, very nice support. So I'm thinking about more upside. I was looking for 71.40, so I'm not sure if maybe your broker still filled you, because as you know, spreads and prices can slightly differ. So that's why I always try to highlight the entries for 5 pips plus minus 5 pips. Okay, so that's actually the zone from where we are bouncing, and I think that we could see more upside. Even if we see something more complex, I think that this will be a counter trend pullback, so I'm expecting more strength. Also, we've been looking for this overlay chart. Notice that since start of April, when actually market, when a lot of dollar pairs hit a new lows here and turned up, well, since then we can see that New Zealand dollar here is one of the strongest. Then you have Mexican peso, then you have euro dollar, Japanese yen. At the bottom is CAD and pound. So if you want to be long, then obviously you can be interested in something that is stronger, and that's why I've been looking for a bounce on New Zealand. Also, CAD is, however, recovering as well, but it's because of, firstly, they said, Bank of Canada, they said that they will look for higher rates in 2023, but now they were quite hawkish, and they said that this could already happen, I believe, in second part of 2022. So this is a positive for CAD, obviously, but I would not be looking maybe for dollar CAD, because maybe also because of bearish crude oil. So I would rather switch to CAD yen. Okay, now looking at CAD yen here, this is a daily chart, very nice impulse, I believe, and we could see more upside. Notice that there was a breakout of base channel. Okay, that's your base channel, and whenever this happens, you can be looking, or that's your confirmation that that's a wave free. And then we have seen a pullback, this that could find a base for this wave 4 at one of those trend lines. So the first trend line was broken, the mid trend line actually kept the weakness here. So I think that there can be more upside coming. Why? Because if you look closely here, you are seeing, let me label this, you are seeing also a free wave drop, I believe. Okay, so that was an ABC. We can also draw a corrective channel here, and whenever you have an ABC drop, what you want to see is that wave C will actually find a low at this trend line. This is exactly what happened. We have seen a very sharp reversal to the upside, and what I love about the current price action is that it's consolidating. It's very slow, so I'm thinking about the next break higher very soon, actually. So CAD yen, also very, very, very interesting. Also, you can see potential small head and shoulders here. Okay, so break above 86, close above that level, I think will bring more upside. Will bring more upside next week. Also, since we are mentioning CAD yen, let's take a look at ASEAN. Also like ASEAN as well. Here is obviously overlay chart between ASEAN and CAD yen. There are obviously in positive correlation. ASEAN has recently been the strongest, but even CAD yen, which was the weakest, is now picking up. So I think that ASEAN will stay in uptrend. What I'm looking at here is a potential triangle. Here is a daily chart. You have clearly a consolidation here. So what is the plan here? Well, I want to see if we can rise maybe towards, what is this, close to 24, then you can hunt pullbacks next week, either here for a minor wave 2, if this was the end of wave E of wave 4. Okay, then you hunt wave 2 subwaves, or maybe even scale into positions at slightly lower prices near the trend line if we see a deeper pullback to make this wave E of wave 4 even more complex. In such case, where would be the stop loss? Well, whenever you are looking to trade at the lower side of the range, the stop loss would be outside of the range. That's just a basic approach. Okay, it's totally different if you are waiting on a breakout. Then, of course, push above this wave D or trendline resistance could drive prices higher, but in such case, for any entries, you could look for higher stops, meaning below wave E. Okay, because if you think the triangle is completed, that's your invalidation level. Also, let's take a look real quick on crude oil. As I mentioned, well, crude oil is a little bit tricky at the moment. It's not it's not bullish. Actually, it's moving sideways or to the downside. I'm thinking about more weakness. So we'll see what this will mean for dollar CAD or dollar in general. As I said, CAD could be driving now for fundamentals from macro. So we will see if crude oil will actually be able to impact CAD as well. Maybe some short-term pullbacks. I just think that you really have to be careful with dollar CAD to see more upside. Why? Because despite lower crude oil, dollar CAD was not able to hold gains. In fact, it reversed impulsively to the downside on those CAD pairs. So I really think you should be careful there. So crude oil here, potentially we are headed lower for a wave C, and wave C here can be part of this corrective wave 4. So longer term scale, still that's a strong uptrend. I believe it can resume, but corrections are made by 3 waves, and that's your perfect support down here. So for now, I think it's a little bit high here to look for any short-term longs. From an investment perspective, if you're scaling in or whatever, if you're aware of risk, of course, you can have a different approach here because you are actually consolidating here in wave 4. Now let's take a look also on silver. Metals have seen a very nice bounce recently. We are seeing a move out of this wedge pattern, so more upside I believe can be in the cards. Maybe that was your first 5 waves up, so watch out now for a 3-wave retracement and then more gains. Here is this hourly time frame, very nice, clear 5 waves up, followed by first wave A. Wave B expecting more downside here. Your support is 2560. The deeper one is at 2460. And validation level is obviously here. So for now, looks like that there is more weakness coming. Of course, before I may look for more upside here, I want to see 3-wave drop. So for now, that's no game for me on the long side yet. Now let's take a look on very quickly on German DAX. Now I've been looking and expecting a reversal lower here on DAX. Why? Because we can clearly count 5 waves up here from that end of February level. We can count 5 subwaves up within wave 3. So I was looking for a pause. We have seen a very nice break out of this downward channel. So it looks like this correction is now underway. 38.2% is the next potential support, which comes in very close to this 15,000 level. Okay, so after a 3-wave drop, I think that this uptrend could resume here next week. And now finally, let's take a look also on, as I mentioned, on Bitcoin. Here is Bitcoin, and just to give you a quick review here, we've been looking for a push higher, push to new all-time high. Yes, here back since mid of April, when we were tracking a triangle, we were looking for either for a wave 5, or maybe this was also wave 5 out. Wave 5 as part of an ending diagonal, and both suggested more upside. And what is interesting, that both suggested that sooner or later top will form, and what we are seeing now is a very aggressive sell-off. I can count 5 waves down here, so in my opinion there is coming more weakness very soon. Of course, we could see some bounce here in the near future after a completion of this 5-wave drop, but eventually this bounce will be temporary. Those that are very bullish on cryptos will probably add to their positions or will look for new entries after this bounce. But this will just be a short temporary reaction that will try to attract more buyers before a next dip occurs. So it's a very strong psychological game here on Bitcoin, which will again probably prove to be correct after a next potential bounce. But on a longer term scale, of course, I'm still looking for Bitcoin to see more upside, but after a deeper 4th wave pullback that I'm tracking here. So the support is 40,000, maybe even 30,000. So just be aware that for now we are still not there. We are still not seeing 3 waves drops, 3 waves down. So just be aware that this could cause more weakness after any bounces. Also, you will have to be very selective on altcoins. I've been sharing this this chart here. As you know, here was a Bitcoin futures launch, then we have Coinbase IPO last week, and now this was a top for Bitcoin, and now again we are seeing a very strong reaction lower. So even if this Bitcoin versus others will rally, that doesn't mean that actually Bitcoin will see a very strong recovery, because just keep in mind that in 2017 then we have seen a strong drop despite this rally here on this ratio. So actually this suggests that altcoins can suffer a lot. Okay, Tourist, thank you very much for your attention. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Talk to you soon. Bye.